Hi everyone, welcome to the Whiteleyverse with me, Connor Whiteley, for another daily short story. Now, before I start today's story, please remember to like, comment and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new content, and the engagement really helps the Whiteleyverse with the YouTube algorithm. Also, if you want to buy this short story and any of my other fiction, then they're available from all major ebook retailers and at your local bookstore and local library if you requested, and you can order paperback copies from Amazon. Now, here's today's short story. I hope you enjoyed just as much as I did writing it.
Hell's Bargain. The heavily choking aromas of rotting apples, damp and nature filled the air as I, Oscar King, knelt down on the perfectly soft, icy cold ground in the dead of night. I had to admit that the sky was rather beautiful, with the pitch darkness being littered with bright stars, almost like fireflies were overhead. My breath formed long, thick columns of vapor as the temperature continued to drop in the woodlands, and the large oak, pine, and silver birch trees gently hit each other in the icy cold breeze. I ran my hand through the thick layer of dead, rotting, damp leaves that covered the entire clearing. I had already made sure I was in the middle of the clearing, so no branches or creatures or trees could come alive and grab me. I was more than happy that the thick ring of iron filings, salt, and sulfur around me was holding strong, despite the strong icy wind that was picking up more and more. The wind was alive, just as I had always wanted. This might have been away from all the small, cramped, dirty white terrace houses of Hell's Place, and all the students and other people were just as far away. But this was still Hell's Place, where the weird and surreal came alive. And that was what I wanted to call on tonight. It was perfectly normal for people to disappear, die, and more strange and wonderful things to happen to the idiots that lived here. I should know I was one of them, and I had gained my magic from living here for so long. Now I needed to ask Hell's Place, so the demon that ran everything, for a little help, because I needed to get justice for my friend. My beautiful, cute friend Oliver had only wanted to have some adult fun, learn what being gay was like for the first time, and he just wanted to live his life for a change. Especially after getting over his abuse and trauma from his parents, he just wanted to live. He never wanted to get interfered with by that older woman. I'll admit that I was a terrible friend at first. I didn't believe him because of course women don't attack men. It is always the other way around, but after Oliver wished me dead, I looked into it. Turns out women attacking men is just as common as men attacking women, but no one reports it. So my best friend hates me because I believed a societal myth, and now I was determined to make it right. "Show yourself, Edward Hales," I said into the darkness. I had never actually summoned a demon before, much less one that controlled the estate I lived in. The icy cold breeze got stronger and stronger until it became a gale. The heavy aromas of rotting apples, damp, and nature got even more choking. Then it all went silent and perfectly still. I blinked, and a moment later a very tall man was standing in front of me wearing a long black trench coat hanging loosely, tight black jeans, and an open white shirt. He was beautiful, for a demon. I seriously liked how his cute face was all lines and angles, and his deep dark black eyes were striking. "Edward Hales," I said as formally as I could. All I knew about the demon was that he was once the lord in charge of the land that Hell's Place was built on. Then, through some paranormal investigations using my magic, I had managed to find out that all the years that the dead people hadn't lived yet became a food source for him. "I'm only 20 years old," I said, "and I'm healthy, so you should have a good 60 or 80 years off me." Edward licked his lips. "That would be true if I could taste you and lick your flesh. I could harvest some of your years now, and live a nice enough life." I stood up, making sure I was still deep within my circle of salt, sulfur, and iron filings. "You're clever, Edward sighed. I've never had someone smart enough to use the three elements against me." I shrugged. I really liked how deep, sexy, and manly his voice was. "We can make a bargain. My life in exchange for you doing a deed for me. A deed where you can claim the years of an awful woman." Edward laughed and paced around for a moment. I was surprised no sound came from him walking on the thick layer of leaves, and his laughter wasn't what I was expecting from a demon. It was sweet, musical, and I almost wanted to keep listening to it. I prefer sweet, innocent lives, but I have been known to take the years of more awful people. I thought years were years to you, I said, starting to understand what I was dealing with. No, Edward sighed, coming closer to me and my circle. Innocent people are tasty, sweet like pork and apple pie. The awful and guilty are drier and slimier like overcooked and burnt chicken. So everything does taste like chicken. Nice, Edward sighed as he licked his lips again. My friend was interfered with 5 nights ago by a woman called Anna Fox. She lives at 543 Oak Road in Hell's Place. Edward sighed like a light bulb had been activated. She's currently singing to her husband, who is shaving his man area for their nightly adult games. I shivered at the very thought. I hated to imagine Anna actually had a husband, and still, she did what she did to young men in bars. How did it happen? No, I said. I am not telling you that. I shivered. There was a reason why I was never ever going to use a public toilet ever again, so people like Anna could follow me in and do that stuff. Edward took a few steps closer to me, so he was within touching distance of my circle. And wow, he seriously looked great and fit and sexy. I almost reached out and ran my fingers through his shiny perfect hair. You want her to die. You want to continue to live your life, knowing you caused someone to die. I was about to say yes before I realized what was truly happening, and I saw the massive sexy grin on his demonic face. He wasn't going to kill me, harvest my years, or use me in any other way. He was going to let me live with the knowledge of what I've caused for the rest of my life. He was going to make me carry around the burden of dooming another person to die. Sure, Anna was a foul, awful woman that deserved to die after what had happened to sweet Oliver, but knowing that I was responsible, that was something else. I was a nice student. I played games with my friends at the weekend. I helped struggling students, and I volunteered my time at the soup kitchen most weeknights. I didn't kill people. Your choice. Edward asked in that sweet, sexy tone. Just kill her. I didn't know if that was the right answer, or how it was going to affect me for the rest of my life, but I just wanted to make things right by Oliver. Even if my best friend continued to think I didn't believe him, I just wanted to know I had done the right thing. So be it, Edward sighed, turning to leave. Why didn't you kill me tonight? I asked, wanting to know the answer. Edward looked at me and winked. You're cute, and honestly, Oliver loves you. I can't take away Oliver's happiness as much as I want to. Not after what Anna did to him. I smiled. So it's true, you actually do have a heart. See what I do to her tomorrow, and then ask yourself that question. I was about to make another comment, but the icy cold gale picked up again, and then everything went silent and Edward was gone with the wind. Edward was right about the next morning, because it was all over the TV, the newspapers, and everyone was talking about it. Anna Fox had been found in the middle of Canterbury High Street with every single bone in her body shattered, her eyes carved out, and her own intestines had been used to sew up her area and mouth so nothing could ever happen again. Even now, I don't think Edward was human anymore, because I doubt a human, no matter how rageful and disgusted and shocked, could possibly do that to a fellow human. So Edward had to be entirely a demon now. And I struggled for the first day after hearing that. I had no idea what fear, torment, and utter terror Anna had been in her final moments of life, or the final tortuous hours of her life knowing Edward, but all of that fear ended on the second day. It turned out sweet, beautiful Oliver had always suspected about my magic and my ability to learn things about the supernatural. He knew I had had something to do with the murder, so he came round and we spoke and we kissed. So we dated. And you know what, 2 years later, I actually think we're going to make it work for the long term. Sure, it wasn't easy with Oliver's trauma, but I love him. He loves me, and I will always be there for him no matter what. And the best relationship I've ever had was only because of a bargain with the demon of Hell's Place. A hell's bargain if there ever was one.
Welcome back everyone, it's me again, Connor Whiteley. So I really hope that you enjoyed today's story, because I flat out love writing, creating stories and sharing them with you. If you really enjoyed today's story, then please remember to like, comment and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new content, and the engagement really helps the Whiteleyverse with the YouTube algorithms. And if you want to buy this short story or any of my other fiction, then they're available from all major ebook retailers, and you can get them from your local library if you requested, and you can order the paperback copies from Amazon, your local bookstore or local library if you request it. Lastly, if you want to support the channel on a one-off basis, then you can now buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/Connor Whiteley. Also, if you know anyone who would enjoy today's story, then please share it with them. I'm always really grateful when you wonderful people help spread the word about the channel. So, thanks for watching the Whiteleyverse, and I'll see you again soon. Have a great day, everyone.